Hey everyone! I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate the support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Ko-fi link or my Patreon link. They're both in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about a persona that some INFJs, tend to develop that really irks me. That actually is, and I used to do that too, and that really irked me about myself. So when I see people doing that, I really am like, I want to shake them, be like, stop doing that. It's not useful. It's not helping you. And the narrative is about playing the victim role. Now, of course, one of the things, and I've done a video on this in the past, one of the things INFJs abhor, absolutely despise in other people, is when they play the victim role. But one of the things that we have a tendency to do as well as INFJs, especially if we're an unhealthy one, is to play the victim role as well. I see in a lot of INFJs who comment on my channel. Nothing to say that I'm judging them or anything, because I was there as well, and I know how difficult it can be to get out of that narrative. It's so comfortable in that narrative. You can just sit there and feel pity for yourself and feel like everyone hates you, the universe is against you, no one loves you, and your life is terrible, and you have to fight against everyone, you have to fight for your freedom or fight for your rights, and you just sit there in your cave by yourself crying and playing that victim role, and it feels comfortable. Because then if you play that victim role, it means that you don't have to change yourself. You don't have to do anything to change your life, because everything is against you. Everyone is against you. The universe even is against you. God is against you. Whoever it might be is against you and wants to hold you down. And so you are a poor person, you are poor me. How can I fight back against all of these forces? I'm just going to sit there and complain and whine and play the victim role. And I did that a lot in my past. I did that, I think, a lot in my 20s, and I stopped doing it once someone actually said it to me right out loud. They said, you need to stop whining and stop playing the victim all the time. You have a really good life and you're not looking at it the way you should. And I'm so grateful. And now I don't remember who said that to me. I think it was my ex, but I'm not really sure. Either way, I was sitting there and literally it felt like a punch in the stomach. It felt a punch in the gut, a punch in my head. I was reeling from it for days on end. I was just sitting there thinking, oh my God, am I really like this? I used to judge other people who played the victim role. Am I actually the person who's really like this? I can't believe is it true? And so I sat there for a long time kind of trying to figure out and observing myself, watching my thoughts. What do I think about the most and how do I play this victim role? And I realized that I do that by basically, as I said, telling the world and telling myself that poor me, no one loves me, no one cares about me, no one wants to take care of me. I'm always taking care of other people, but no one gives me anything back in return. Poor boo-hoo me, yeah? Now, obviously, what I realized from that is a lot of different lessons came from it. But one of the main things that I wanted to tell you guys, especially all of you guys who are playing the victim role right now, and do play the victim role in the comments you send me as well. Now, again, no judgment, but I really want you guys to start thinking in a different manner because it's not helping you. There are things you have to do on this planet. There is your life purpose that you have to follow. And instead of doing all that stuff, you're sitting and playing this victim role, wasting your time, wasting your life away. And I did that too. And I know how powerful it can be to come out of that victim narrative and to really start taking responsibility for everything upon your shoulders. And the reality was that as soon as I realized that, yes, I was playing the victim role, my main lesson after that was, I'm going to do what I'm going to do for myself. Even if I'm helping someone else, it's for me. I'm not doing it to receive thanks from them. I'm not doing it so that they can bow down to me or grovel at my feet or praise me or tell me amazing things. Everything I do, I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for someone else. I'm doing it for myself, for my journey, for my growth, for my learning, for my whatever. And so if I do something for someone else and they treat me poorly after, it doesn't matter because that's their narrative. I did it to do it for myself. I didn't do it for the other person. Another thing that I realized and I took as a lesson from that victim narrative thing and transforming myself is that my life is my responsibility. No one else's responsibility. It's very easy for us as human beings to start blaming everyone. And it's very easy because I did that for the longest time. I used to blame my parents for everything in my life. It was very easy. Oh, they didn't send me to badminton lessons, so that's why I'm like this. Or, they didn't give me that opportunity to go to Europe when I was 13, or that's the reason I'm like this. Or, all of those things that I would be able to blame other people for. Or, blaming my old teachers from university or from school. They didn't do this, that's why I'm like this. Or blaming my exes for, oh, they treated me like this, that's why I'm like this. Or my friends for it. Or blaming the universe or God, oh, he's a male God and I'm a female, that's why I'm like this. There's so many easy ways to blame other things, other people, other situations for everything that's happening in your life. But as soon as I pulled it back upon me, everything is my responsibility. Everything is my responsibility. If I'm not doing well at work, it's because of me, not because of my boss, not because of someone else. It's my responsibility to have a conversation with my boss and say, what am I doing wrong? Why do I feel like I'm not making any progress? Can you help me? My responsibility to say those words out loud. Now, I'm not saying that when it's all your responsibility, that you're alone on the planet. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to, put your head on someone else's shoulder and ask to be solaced or ask to be comforted. That's not to say that you're alone, but everything is your responsibility. So it's your responsibility to go ask someone for help. I notice that a lot of INFJs are like, oh, I'm all alone and no one loves me, no one cares about me. But then when I ask them, did you approach someone? Have you gone on a date? Or do you go and ask your friends for help? Or do you ask your friends for comfort? They say no. And they say they're supposed to know what I need. They're not psychic. Like, come on, they're not psychic. No one around you is psychic in that matter, and they're not intuitive in that manner. And also, people are dealing with their own stuff. They're busy in their heads with their own stuff. If you need something, go ask for it. Take the responsibility for your actions, for your life, for your personality, for everything upon your own shoulders, and you'll realize, as I did, how powerful that is. As soon as you say, okay, I'm not going to play the victim role anymore, I'm not going to blame other people for anything in my life, I'm going to take responsibility for it from myself, that's when your life is going to completely transform. Now, people will give me examples like, oh, but it's not my fault that that person lost my money. I trusted him and I gave him my money to invest for me, and then he lost it. It's not my fault. Well, did you do the research? Did you actually do the research to figure out if he was going to invest it into a proper thing? If you're going to give up control of your money to someone else, then they're going to do whatever they want with it, And so taking back responsibility means taking back responsibility for everything that you do. If someone does something wrong to you, think about it for yourself. What did I do in the situation? Perhaps I gave them too much leeway. Perhaps this person was not the right person for me and I still kept on keeping them in my life. Perhaps I was supposed to do the door slam faster or earlier or whatever it might be. There's always things that you can learn from everything that happens. Lessons for yourself, lessons to make you realize that everything is your responsibility. The victim narrative and taking responsibility for yourself are two things that cannot go together. If you're playing the victim role, you're not taking responsibility for yourself. And if you're taking responsibility for yourself, it's impossible for you to play the victim role. It literally is, because when you're sitting there and something bad happens, you're like, yeah, that was my fault. I did it that way and I shouldn't have done it that way. And you take the lesson and move on. There's no time for you to play the victim. There's no time for you to be like, oh my God, people hate me and, I'm boohoo, like I have such a terrible life. I am the saddest person on this planet. I have the terriblest life on this planet. No one has a worse life than me. No one has a worse time on this planet than me. I feel so sad and everyone is against me. It's very easy, and I've done this. I played this role I played this narrative in my head many times before, where I would just sit there and think, oh my goodness, why would the world be against me? And then, as soon as you take responsibility for yourself, you're like, well, yeah, so, I lost that money because I didn't do that. Or my flight was canceled, so I can go buy another flight. Or, you have actions that you take. You stop playing the victim role and you start taking action. You start taking responsibility and start taking action. And as soon as you start taking action, life will start transforming, because you're not sitting back and blaming other people, but you're like, all right, this is something that I don't like in my life. How can I change it? All right, I'm going to take these 4 actions and I'm going to improve my life. Yeah. Or this other person, I don't like the fact that they do this to me. I'm going to have a conversation with them, or I'm going to remove them from my life. Yeah. Always taking action. And that's how your life keeps on changing. So I really want you guys to remove yourself as much as possible from the victim narrative. It's very easy, I know, it's very comfortable in there. You know, it's easy to think that everyone is against you and everyone hates you because that's comfortable. You know, it's easy to say that. It's harder to take responsibility, much, much harder to take responsibility and take action. That's actually really difficult. So human beings will tend to play the victim narrative, and especially, as I said, INFJs have a tendency to do that. So I really don't want INFJs to do that because we have so much potential, but we're not taking care of that potential because we're busy playing this boo-hoo role. Stop doing that. Really, it's not conducive to you or to anyone around you. Actually, it's not really conducive to you at all, which is the most important thing. It doesn't matter about people around you, but really for you, it's not the best life that you're leading right now by playing this role, okay? Now, it might be a little harsh, this video, I get it. If you want to unsubscribe because this video is so harsh and you can't take it, go ahead and please do so. But the victim narrative is definitely something that I've played in the past, and I really don't want you guys to play it anymore. If you have any questions about this, you can comment below. And of course, if you want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Ko-fi link. I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.